Ladies and gentlemen, oh my God, am I so happy to have you back, all you sick people out there, for another episode, a long overdue episode of the You're Still Here podcast. I know I tell you that all the time. Like, oh, this is a long overdue episode. But what do I also always tell you? No matter how long it's been, whether it's short or it's been a little longer, you're always going to get another episode because I always have more things to talk about in this haunted house of a mind. But sometimes it's later rather than sooner because I have these other responsibilities. I have sports betting responsibilities. And that really sounds like an oxymoron. You know, my sports betting responsibilities, but my responsibilities to create sports betting content for the many who come to the YouTube channel for it. And most importantly, for those who actually support me on the Patreon. Sometimes I get so inundated with all of that stuff that it doesn't give me enough time to crank out some episodes of this show. But I told you there will always be another one, whether it's sooner or later. This one happened to be later. Next one, I'm going to try to make it sooner because I obviously got a lot to catch up on, a lot to talk about. And, you know, the first thing's not going to be a surprise to anybody. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. And that is the state of this world, which is become increasingly sick. We live in a truly sick world. And I want to let you know that's not me giving my judgmental take on the current state of humanity. No, like, I mean it in a literal sense. Everybody is sick. They're sick. Like, just go anywhere right now. And I know, like, you're living in your basement, holed up like behind a screen like Buffalo Bill. And hey, go ahead, do that. I already told you I'm not talking about that kind of sick. What I'm saying is that if you emerge from your cave like the three-eyed raven you are, just without all the knowledge, and you start going to places, you're going to hear people are very unwell. People are very unwell. They're very unwell. I've used public transportation a great deal of my life, and I continue to do so. Currently, if you sit on a plane or a train or a bus, there is a considerable chance that patient zero from 28 days later is sitting within 3 rows of you. He's right there, because I was on a train recently and this thing sounded like somebody was carrying the keyboard from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And if you don't know what that is, go and look it up. It's a keyboard where every sound is the noise of a sick man. That's what I'm hearing on these trains right now. I mean, I'm surprised that even the conductor on the loudspeaker, next station is... That's what I'm hearing everywhere. What has happened to all of you? What has happened to you people? What are you eating? Like, growing up, I knew people whose whole diet, I think it's still that way, it was comprised of cheesy gordita crunches, no lettuce, add sour cream, and they never sounded like that. They never sounded like a zombie from Resident Evil, one of the original PlayStation zombies, who had the best zombie noise of all time came from the original Resident Evil. I've obviously watched a lot of horror movies, but I think a true zombie noise has to be the slow. I don't like the jacked up ones, the ones who are on no explanation. No. That's growling zombies were never meant to be. It's got to be the hey. That's what a zombie is. I want to have empathy for these people, but I got to be honest. I am starting to look at people out there, out the front door. I don't want to say like fully Walking Dead zombies. There's not that level of fear. But if there was a scale, and on one end of the scale was like a 1960s milkman, and on the other side of that scale, a full Resident Evil zombie, nowadays, the needle, I think it's starting to tilt over towards that Umbrella Corporation. Like, somebody came to my door unsolicited. And I know Sebastian Maniscalco has a whole thing about like who shows up at somebody's door now. You used to get excited. Now you're scared. Somebody just showed up at my door. And you want to know what I did? I don't have a window that slides up and down. I have one of those crank windows. I talked to them through the crack of a crank window because I didn't want to open that door and be within an inch or two from one of these Bueller cough machines. I slightly rolled open the window and I had a crevice that was way smaller than the one on the Wizard of Oz door, if you remember when that slot just opens up. How are you? What do you want?
Why are you here?
Are you the type of person that would go to Times Square on New Year's Eve? Oh, really? Were you one of those people just last week who showed up to the crowd to see if the groundhog saw his shadow? Are you that type of person?
Fuck off.
Slot slammed right in their face. And I really did. You think this is like a story for the podcast? I spoke to somebody through a Wizard of Oz crevice in my window. And if you're currently thinking right now, you know, that sounds kind of harsh. Then I urge you to look into the people that went to New Year's Eve in Times Square.
So what do you do with the bathroom?
What do you do? I'll show you exactly what you do. Okay? Hold on. Let me see. Let me try and find this here.
Okay, now I
See these pads?
Yeah.
You have to pee in these pads.
Grown individuals, New Year's Eve, Times Square, were proud during interviews to showcase their diapers and urination tactics when asked how they bear the elements and how they don't lose their spot. And they said proudly, well, you're not allowed to leave. If you leave, you lose your spot. So naturally, the newscaster asked, well, what do you do when you have to go to the bathroom? And then they say, like, well, of course, we have diapers on and we urinate ourselves right here.
It stays there. It stays there.
This will hold for the whole day?
You make it will stay for the whole day, yeah.
And I know I told you once about that kid I knew, more of a friend, who he thought his genius idea on penny beer night on Wednesday nights in college, his genius plan to never lose his spot and get as many penny beers as he wanted was to keep drinking and just urinate himself. He pissed himself directly in front of the bartender, but you're obviously leaning up on the bar. It's hard to know. College nights are pretty disgusting. That ground is wet to begin with. He's just pissing himself and then continuing to drink. Piss, drink, piss, drink. He thought he was a genius, and so did the people who go to New Year's Eve in Times Square.
I'm wearing diapers.
The
See?
diapers?
This is what. Yep.
This is not a diaper though. This will not
It works
hold.
too. It works too.
What I want to know is how these people feel when they're on that train back home. Because obviously, the event just ended, the confetti's fell, all the, I want to say the adrenaline has worn. There was no adrenaline. You stood in the freezing cold for 20 hours to get a look at that Seacrest Botox. It was underwhelming, and now you're sitting saturated in urine on a train going back home, and I want to know what you're That's when I want the newscaster to interview you. I want them to interview you on your way back home, post urine in the diapers. Or maybe do they actually say to themselves, you know what? Man, that was worth it. Let's go. I can't wait to go back. Definitely worth it. Can't wait till next year. Cue the next cough and then other people coughing. Maybe that's who's on the train, these urinators. And speaking of diseases on trains, you think there were any on this train? Any diseases in there? Every once in a while, you will see one of those charts. I don't know. For some reason, maybe it's social media. You'll see it somewhere. It's trying to make you feel good about yourself. It shows you the percent chance of being born in various places. It shows you the percent chance you'll be born in the United States, opposed to a place like India when you look at all the populations. And they're trying to get you to really feel lucky about how good you have it. And, you see those charts. You don't get a good grasp of it until you see that train, and then you go, whew. Whew, that was a close one. Okay, what's that show? Like Locked Up Abroad, Scared Straight? No, you don't even have to do that. You don't have to send me to an Ecuadorian jail. Just cue up that video on my phone of that train going to God knows where. And the funny thing is, I don't think that there's a destination for that train. Like, how they go, oh, next stop. No, it's just going somewhere because there are so many people. They just need to move some people out of a location. There's no space left for people. The train is just to get people to a less populated area. Like, Well, yeah, let's see if we can squeeze some over there. Like, the people on that train, they're not taking their train to their job over at 1-800-Flowers. Okay? Blur your eyes a little bit. Watch that video. And if someone said, yeah, I'm just watching World War Z, would you fight them? Would you argue them on that concept? So like I said, Pleasantville on one side of the scale, zombies on the other side of the scale. I'll let you kind of decide where that lies on the Milkman Resident Evil scale. And by the way, I truly love that Willy Wonka egg scale. I mean, you've heard me use that reference many times. And it's because I love it. It's simple. There's not a single person out there, in theory, who doesn't grasp the premise of that scale. It can't be messed up. It's a system that needs no explanation, nor does it need to be tinkered with whatsoever. Flawless system that's been in place for decades that I suggest should be implemented with all showers. Wait, what? Yes, showers around the world, because I got a major problem with showers, specifically knobs. It should be, when it comes to shower knobs, as universal as a steering wheel. Like, everybody should know it, just like the Willy Wonka egg scale. No, instead, you have some shower knobs. You have to be the commander of the Titanic. They require multiple turns to finally get to the heat. You have to get around that iceberg to finally feel something. You have some that you move it 1/1,000,000th of an inch, and now you have third-degree burns all over your body. Then you have another with you have to be a chemist. Or you have to be like David Guetta, because there's 6 knobs and you have to have your headphones in, turning this one that way, turning that one this way, put this one down so that it doesn't start draining things, and put this one up so it comes from this shower head opposed to that shower head. This is ridiculous. There should be one standard 9 to 5 Willy Wonka knob. It's undebatable. A borderline caveman could be shown this. Encino Man, Fraser could see. Who's Danny Fraser? Brendan Fraser could have been brought to this knob, maybe not that far. Left red, right blue, or I know you're looking at the screen, so, flip it, do the opposite, and the middle off. Very simple. Cold, hot, off. That's it. You can't mess it up. But no, we gotta, show people like, oh no, I gotta showcase my personality through shower knobs. Just like with names. I have that show, A Dave and a Dan, because bring back Dan. Hashtag bring back Dan. Bring back simple names. Dave, Dan, Red Hot shower knobs. And I forgot to mention this when it comes to shower knobs. In Europe, I saw this in several different countries. So this is not like, I was in this one place and they had this. When you're in a hotel, there is a string that kind of hangs from the ceiling in the shower. And I swear to you, it looks like an emergency ripcord. There's a ripcord type thing that hangs from the ceiling. And I still have no clue what it is. I never asked anybody. And no, I didn't Google it. I thought, maybe I'll let them decide. I'll let them tell me what it is. It's the emergency ripcord is what it is. The emergency shower ripcord. And I just want to know what happens when you yank it. Who shows up? Like, is that your Spider-Man? Is that your bat signal? You yank that cord? Is it for an old man who fell in the shower and it's his only chance of getting help is by yanking on that cord? Is it like when they used to bury people hundreds of years ago and they buried them with a cord in there in case they wrongfully buried them, and then they rang the bell? As I learned, the true origin of Saved by the Bell. But I don't know what it is because I refused to pull on it. I wouldn't be able to live with myself if nothing happened. Like, I feel like if you yank on that cord, there's like a notification, but not for somebody to help you. There's a notification that goes around to the hidden society, letting them know, yep, add Andy to the donkey list. He's not making the cut. He had to yank the cord. He had to do it. He had to yank the meaningless dangling cord like some phantom ghost from Black Phone was going to answer it. So anyway, New Year's Eve has come and gone. You know, we're already mowing past Groundhog's Day, Valentine's Day here. It's still the perfect time to lie to yourself. You know, New Year's, when you claim you're going to get healthy. And that's something that I have to do because, as I'm sure you've noticed, especially if you come to watch some of my YouTube sports videos, I've been on the IR a couple of weeks. I've been out of commission with the Christopher Moltisanti neck brace. And what happened? In the early fall, I had multiple procedures on my mouth. And I'm not like talking about the Lloyd Christmas chip tooth. I'm talking about multiple procedures, oral surgeries. And because I didn't space them out, your neck is not supposed to be in that position dealing with invasive surgeries one after, like, you're supposed to space them out. So my neck muscles spasmed severely and I had a frozen neck like Jack Nicholson in The Shining for months. I thought it was going to go away. Like, oh, come on, but it's just something happened. And then 1 week and 2 weeks and 4 weeks and 6 weeks. And I know when you say, like, what do you mean frozen forward? It means like forward and back was fine. I can do a clucking motion like a chicken, but any sort of movement to the left or right, any sort of rotation, I was finished. Like if I had to check a runner at first, he's stealing second base every single time. I'm not throwing over. I'm not even looking. That's how bad it was. I was frozen forward. The scariest part was, well, not scary for me, but the scariest part was when I needed to turn to face someone, I had to do the full Batman turn, if you know what that is. Like, Batman has no mobility in that suit in his neck. So when someone says, hey, Batman, he has to do the full body turn just to face them. I was in a store looking to purchase a carpet. And I scared the shit out of an employee simply because I heard someone say something behind me and I did the full Batman turn. And you'd be surprised at how scared and startled people get when you do a full turn and stare at them. So I never wanted to wear a condom. And you'll never have to. That was me, but I've taken a couple weeks. I've taken more than a couple. I've taken a month and a half, and I got good news to report. I'm like at 82% right now. Still working on it, but it's definitely a whole hell of a lot better. But this is what it's come to, getting healthy on New Year's Eve. It used to mean lose weight and stop eating those cheesy gordita crunches at 2 a.m. Now getting healthy simply means, I can turn my neck in a relatively normal fashion. I got real healthy this year. I don't know if you caught the Stranger Things final season. I mean, you really don't need to. If you didn't, you can Google what I'm about to tell you. Just a brutal, plot hole-filled final season. But I guess that's what happens, That's what happens to all shows after a while. Game of Thrones, everyone mails it in. The Florida Panthers mail it in. Stranger Things writers mail it in. Certain level of success. There's a certain level of mail-ins. I had a case of Vecna neck, and why I say that is because if you did watch the final season of Stranger Things, you'll notice the main antagonist, the main bad guy in Stranger Things, it's no different than the previous couple of seasons. It was Vecna. But this year, Vecna was a little bit different. He was a little bit different than the old Vecna. His skin and skeletal structure, it was all in motion and moving. So his muscles, specifically the neck ones, if you saw any of those episodes, were moving and turning. And I swear to you, that villain on the screen was hurting me. When someone gets kicked in the nuts and you kind of hold if you're a woman. Yeah, so what I was saying is if you get kicked in the nuts and you can kind of feel it, my neck would tingle when I saw Vecna. Vecna hurt more people in real life, me, than he did in that entire Stranger Things finale. Spoiler alert, it sucked. I'm currently on I won't say I'm on it because I've returned for the most part. I was on the IR with a case of Vecna neck. It's not the long-term disability type of thing or anything like that. And I wouldn't want long-term disability because I wouldn't want to qualify for it. And I don't know if I would ever even want to. I know everybody, everyone got laid off, massive layoff. Nobody has a job anymore. Everyone's in their basement. Nobody goes out. But still, even if that was me, I would not want to file for some sort of disability claim, even if I could earn it. Because I know what you're thinking. What do you mean? You get free money? Do you know what getting disability entails? And let's just say I know what it entails. Okay? Not personal experience, but personal experience. If you're injured through work, you work on an oil rig, you got injured, and you qualify for disability the right way. Standard qualification for disability. You fell off the rig, and now you're going to be on disability. You think it's just as easy as that? No. There is a person, an actual person whose full-time job it is for 5 years to prove he's faking it. That's his whole job. Every single day he wakes up, he goes, how can I get him today? How can I prove he's faking it? And you have to keep this up for 5 years. They're telling you they're at the corner of your house. Oh, you think you can just go for a walk around the block? No, they're following you to get your coffee. They're doing all sorts of things. They're checking your social media. It's a full Scientology job without the bad reputation. And if someone from Scientology is listening, I'm just kidding. Please don't come after me. Not worth it. But for real, somebody's job is to track that person down to make sure they're lying. And I mean, think about all the things in your life you have to forego. I mean, something tells me you're not much of a long distance runner, but no jogging, no basketball, no fixing something in your house. What if he sees you fixing a pipe through the window? Anything. You can't do any of that stuff. Now, maybe you guys can live with this. Maybe this can be you, but me, the way my mind works, everything I saw in my mind would be the guy. Everything would be the guy. Everything. Like, if I heard a plane, I'm like, the guy's flying a drone. He's flying a drone past the bedroom window. Anything in my mind would be the guy. And it's more of I wouldn't be able to live peacefully. If I had to qualify for disability, I'd be a method actor 24/7. I'd be Daniel Day-Lewis. I'd make Gangs of New York look like the worst acted film of all time. I'd walk around my own house and talk to real people who want to know things as if I was injured. Everybody's getting a performance at all times. Maybe there's a certain percentage of people who already get that from me right now, but everyone would be getting it. At my own conversations at the dinner table with my child, I don't have a kid, wouldn't even be real. If my kid asked me, oh, Daddy, what did you do today? Oh, I was in bed injured all day, son. I was in bed injured. And, if I wanted to do something, like if I worked up the balls to do something like work out because I was disgusting, looking at myself in a disgusted fashion, I would be in a windowless, pitch black room. Like I called you people Buffalo Bill at the opening of this show. That would be me. I'd be wearing the Buffalo Bill night vision glasses doing curls in a pitch black room so that nobody could be filming it. And I would be playing one of those sound machines, those ones that are just supposed to play some noise while you're sleeping to distract you so that you can sleep. Did I ever tell you that story, by the way? 1000% true story. I will fast forward through parts that, I don't know. No need to get into the deal. You never know who's listening. Maybe that guy is listening right now. But let's just say I ended back at somebody's place. And let's just say, for one reason or another, I had to sleep in that person's room. And then let's just say that person said to me, hey, do you mind if I just put on my machine? It helps me fall asleep. I was like, yeah, no problem. Sometimes I'll put on a calm podcast and fall asleep to that. I thought it's no problem. This girl turns it on. Webster Hall subwoofers were more quiet than the Titanic that this person put on that speaker. He goes, okay, yeah, no problem. I was terrified in a way. So, wait, how did I? Oh, I'd be playing that while doing curls in my pitch black night vision basement. And those are the lengths you have to go to if you want to get that settlement. 5 years of that before you actually get paid out. So you got to make sure you cross those T's and you dot those lowercase J's. You can't be a donkey like this lady who lost out on hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars. But from what I understand, when you have disability for life, you're talking about millions of dollars. And why did she lose out on these millions? Because this asshole had to enter a Christmas tree throwing competition. A Christmas tree. It almost sounds like a free throw. A Christmas tree throwing competition. A Christmas tree throwing competition. First of all, what the hell is that? How far are these full Christmas trees being thrown? Like, I'm thinking of the logistics of that. It doesn't make sense to me. If I had to wing a full Christmas tree, what is it going? Just a foot in front of me? Who's launching Christmas trees like discs? Like, why is this even a competition? It doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, this donkey, she didn't just enter, she won. She won the Christmas tree throwing competition. If she would have just finished in 4th place, she would have been fine. They would have never known anything. But that guy, the guy who was assigned to her, flying drones by the window and didn't catch her for 4.5 years. Oh, when he saw that newspaper article as he was eating his Cinnamon Toast Crunch, local donkey wins Christmas throwing competition. I would imagine it was the same type of feeling when Rachel McAdams saw that picture of Ryan Gosling from The Notebook, revealing that he was still around, and she dropped what she had in her hands. This was let's do a less romantic version of that, because it wasn't a romantic feeling. It was more like when Edgar in Men in Black was looking for that planet and he saw the picture of the cat on the wall. That's how excited that person got when they saw that Christmas tree throwing competition winner. But man, I don't know how much first place won, but I'm pretty sure it was significantly less than $2 million. Not for nothing, when you're dead, I propose being able to add unflattering things on someone's tombstone. I know people put in the chair, I remembered as a father, brother. No, not to all of us. You're the donkey who lost $2 million because you had to enter the New Hampshire local tree throwing competition. That should be on your tombstone. It absolutely should. Like my plus 550 unit NHL winning season. Yeah, that's going to be on there. We could add some bad things, but you should have little annotations for what you were remembered for, not just for being a dad. No. Yeah, that will be in there. That'll be right under there. Yeah. Frederick Donkeys. Dad, and then let's go to some of those actual memorable things for the masses. Are the masses going to visit you? You would say no. But if people actually had notes on the tombstone, I would go walking around a cemetery. When you visit someone in a cemetery, you do that walk about 4 people to the left and the right just to say, who is this guy? Who's Frank Tarlington? And then you see you always wonder did anyone make it to 100? You guys ever do that? You ever walk around? Man, I'm doing this in cemeteries, and I'm not young anymore. I walk around cemeteries until I find someone that made it to 100. Just imagine me just going from tombstone to tombstone. And you get so close sometimes. There's so many 95, 6s. So rare that you get that 100. And that's what I would do. And I would be there even longer if I got to read all the stuff, the memorable summary, the AI summary of what people should be remembered by, not just by the family, but everyone else. Now, she obviously is not the only one trying to scam her way to free payments. No. And that brings us to our scam of the week.
It's a scam.
That's a scam.
What a scam that was.
So this was all a scam, huh?
Which had a man dress up like his mom somewhat convincingly, somewhat to the point where this doesn't look that bad. I mean, I know there's been a lot in the news, guys dressed up as girls, girls dressed up as guys, all this stuff. But this guy tried to claim insurance money by dressing up as his mom, and they figured it out, and it was a man. He really went far. He really went far. And I think if this was a different generation, he would have got. Remember when Johnny Knoxville was in Bad Grandpa, or the first time he dressed up as an old man? Everyone thought he was an old man, but now AI, all these crazy videos, so many people have makeup where you can kind of know. Insurance, I don't really have to talk about them. They've seen every lie under the sun. And look, I'll never defend insurance. I will never defend insurance. They truly are ruthless scumbags. But sometimes I do wonder, was there a time where insurance wasn't that way? Like maybe in the beginning of insurance, it was like most things, the way it was supposed to be. When you had people make some food over 100 years ago, it wasn't all this stuff thrown in there, but eventually you get to a point where things end up somewhere. Like, I wonder sometimes, was there a time where insurance, you called them and they said, oh my God, your house burned down? My goodness, that sounds so sad. How much did your house cost? $400,000? All right, well, your house burned down because you said so. Here's the $400,000 to rebuild your house because you have insurance and we believe you, of course. Did they get bent over by every scammer like me out there for 50 years and they just said, you know what, fuck it. You know what, now they're gonna learn what it's like to get fucked. And they've been doing it ever since. They've been giving it to us so much to the point, and now some of them are getting gunned down on the streets. So maybe it's going back the other way. But, I mean, we still got people dressing up like Knoxville in Bad Grandpa, Bad Grandma, whatever it is, just to scam them out. So it's one of the, not too dissimilar from things like sports books and roids. It's like the cheater and the cheatee are always, one step ahead of each other. Like the cheater's always got, we can detect these levels in your blood. Oh yeah, well then I'll have synthetic blood, do all that. There's always another level to it. But nowadays, like with AI, people question everything. Like that's why that guy got caught. I mean, there are AI videos. If this was a couple years ago, probably on the podcast, you could hear me say it's like, yeah, but it's some rinky-dink guy. No, there are AI videos. Like there are AI videos that look like Price is Right episodes, and they look like actual Price is Right episodes.
You wanted something you could really use, right?
Absolutely.
Well, feast your eyes on this, a brand new digital scale. Climb on up there. Let's see what it says.
Now, yes, if you look hard, you can say, oh no, that's a little wonky. But the fact that in 2 years we went from that and something that if I showed you 10 years ago, you'd say that is 1,000% a Price is Right episode. And this is funny stuff on there.
I don't give a fuck who's next. Y'all can eat shit and die for all.
And it's not difficult. You can see a video you like, an AI video, and then offer up your own alteration. And now you've just created a realistic Price is Right video in under 30 seconds. And some of them are genuinely hysterical.
Sharon, you've done it. Look right over here. You have just won yourself a brand new gym. Go on, waddle on over there and check it out.
And believe it or not, I've actually been putting some of my podcast material into the one that I've been using because it seems the most realistic, Sora. I gotta say, sometimes they do it better than me.
I'm on the train yesterday. Felt like the whole car came down with the plague. Everywhere you look, someone's hacking up a lung. I swear to you, it sounds like Ferris Bueller brought his keyboard.
Now, I know when you're watching, it just feels different when you know. It's like I always said about Westworld, you know, I can never enjoy Westworld. If, let's say, I was dying to get back with my ex, and they knew that in Westworld. They're like, this guy just wants his ex. And they built me my exact ex. It's her. There's no way it isn't her. But if I was going to Westworld and I knew they recreated that, even if every last iota of that person is her, it's knowing that it's not actually her that ruins all of it. So I know when I say things to you people, in theory, you enjoy it more, but I've input some of this very material into the AI thing, and sometimes, most of the time, it generates concise, quick videos that gets the point across way better than me. Remember the thing I just told you about the showers before? What did I need? 7 minutes to explain the showers and the this and the that? Look at this. 15 seconds.
Why are there 1,400 different shower knobs now? Every hotel, every new apartment, it's a whole new puzzle. Should be like a steering wheel. One design, everybody knows it. Left, right, done. I walk in one the other night, it's got 4 knobs. 4! You gotta be a Jersey Shore DJ just to crank the heat. I'm in there doing scratch moves. Steam's coming out of my ears, but not out of the faucet. I'm twisting, I'm tapping, I'm guessing which one's even...
Yeah, that's it. They do it better than me. And part of the fun is that they're actually really strict with the guidelines. Like, you can't just say, hey, put me in the opening scene of Back to the Future 2. It will say content violation, that's copyright, you cannot do things like that. But if you word it like you were Donnie Brasco, wired by the feds, and you say, hey, Sora, show me the opening scene from a movie that looks like it came out in 1985, that somewhat resembles an actual popular movie that came out in 1985 that dealt with time travel, with a character who could somewhat be confused for a doctor named Doc Brown in a car that people in the past have claimed looks like a DeLorean. Turn me into that doctor. Look at this. They turned me into Doc Brown. From one prompt. And I've mentioned this many, many times, but if you say like, you know what, I'm just going to fully withdraw from all of this, no online dating, no all this, I'm not looking at AI, I'm keeping things simple, I have my wired headphones and that's all I need. If you do that now, my current theory is there is a quickly growing Amish subset of the regular population, and you will be a part of it. You will be a modern Amish person. And in no way am I saying that's a bad thing, but do not be upset when you have a kid or something and you can't relate to even 4% of your kid's problems, because I've mentioned this many times, but Dad, they left me on red on Snapchat and then I can't follow their timeline on Venmo. And Dad, well, just call them and tell them how you feel. Like, that's going to be able to help anything. But you keep saying it gets crazier. Like, that sort of thing I thought was pretty crazy. How about using AI, motion capture software to trick older people on Facebook? Because I think you need to know about this. Look at this. Look at these people. Some guy on a click farm in Bangladesh. It's bad enough when you call Delta and they send you over to some guy in Bangladesh. Oh, yes, I understand your concern. Oh, yeah, you understand my concern? Do you? Name me 2 things. Name me 2 leisure activities that both you and I have done in the past month. Both of us have done it. You don't understand anything about me. You were hanging off the edge of that World War Z train before just to get to that job over there. Don't pretend you know what it's like to be livid about too much blue cheese on your buffalo chicken slices. All right, so it's bad enough when Delta does it. Now we're going to be getting OnlyFans girls doing it. You're going to be talking to. I learned that on Uber Eats, I don't know if you get. Everyone has the same name now. I don't know. Something tells me it's going to be different in South Carolina, but there's a name Mamadou. I don't know what that means. Every person on Uber Eats has input their name as Mamadou. I don't know. It's a Mamadou conundrum. I don't know what it is. There's a scam behind it, and I will obviously get to it, but apparently everyone's name on Uber Eats is Mamadou. So now you're going to have all these Mamadous cranking out only. You think you're talking to this cute Tomb Raider chick. It's Mamadou who just got off that train. But you know who lives for this, who loves this? That guy, Neve from Catfish. Because this technology, that obviously just prolonged Catfish for another 10 seasons. But then again, I just heard that MTV shut down. MTV shut down? That sounds a little what? MTV really ceases to exist? Like fully gone. There is no MTV channel. If, I repurchase cable and go through the channel, the artist formerly known as MTV is currently gone. It makes sense that was the only thing that could finally stop ridiculousness. Or that is it just called the Ridiculousness channel now? Because that would make sense, because that's all that was on there. Ridiculousness and the aforementioned Catfished every once in a while. I bang on Catfish, but it is more original than some of the stuff you're getting these. There is a lot of quote unquote AI slop. I saw YouTube is removing channels now for using too much AI slop. There's too many, these influencers. Have you seen the new place down on South Street? There's so much garbage. And then even when you look to things like Stranger Things, you have their guys mailing it in. There are so few good things to watch out there, social media or even on TV and movies that are coming out. That's why I try to put some thought into this pot. I try to stitch some ideas together and give you something that hopefully provides you with just a little nugget of entertainment to get you through a day. And I came across something. I try every once in a while to point you to something. I know in the past I said, hey, I tell my younger brother to have the Benjamin Button style of movie consumption where you go backwards in years rather than forwards to go find some of those good movies from yesteryear. I know in the past I've also pointed you to a funny Instagram account called Mug Shouties, where you just see hot women who have been jailed and it's all their mug shots and what they've done and a bunch of guys claiming they could fix them. Well, I got another one for you. Like, I'm sure you heard of pizza reviews, right? Yes. Take that same concept and replace pizza with having to take a shit reviews. There's a guy out there who all he does, he goes to the most ritzy and high-end places around a city. I'm going to the Dior store. Does a classic fake look for something, and then asks, oh, you mind if I use your bathroom? And then does a video walkthrough of what the bathroom is like in some of the nicest places. And I, for one, absolutely respect this. It's one of my favorite things about Las Vegas. There are a couple different things to love about Las Vegas. I'm actually going to be there for Super Bowl weekend. It has nothing to do with the Super Bowl, but I'm going to be there. And you want to know what I'm going to do there? Enjoy their damn bathrooms. More so than the pools, the nightclubs, it's the pristine bathrooms that I love. I think one time I spent an hour inside the Palazzo bathroom. All you need to know is that the Palazzo bathroom is so nice that I actually remember it all those years later. So that's a channel that you can watch. And I'm going to have to grab a screenshot because, when you have a channel like that, you better have a catchy name. Like, it can't just be your personal profile. It better be, toilets and tales, tales of toilets. Now watch, that's going to be copyrighted. And that is how I'm going to leave you here for this episode of the You're Still Here podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. I enjoyed. There was some funny stuff there, and I have more funny stuff to talk about. I already, sometimes after I lay out things I'm going to talk about, because I can wing it, but then you're going to get a lot of, so I at least just try to have some random things assorted. Always when I'm about to start, I'm like, oh my God, this, and oh my God, that. So, there will be another one soon, and if there's a teaser, it's going to be called The Donkification Part 2. And what's the donkification part 1? It's just a couple episodes back. So, like, you know, I could be like one of those Marvel movies where I've claimed that it's almost like I hate them because you need prereqs. When I was like, all right, fine, I'll watch the Avengers. Like, no, you gotta watch Iron Man, this, that, and the other, then you qualify for the Avengers. It's not that crazy. Go watch the donkification episode. There's gonna be a follow-up, like Marshall Mathers part 2. There's gonna be that donkification part 2 as the next episode of the You're Still Here podcast. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I certainly did. Very enjoyable. Hope you got a few chuckles in there. You want to know what you can do to show me you enjoyed it? If you're watching this on YouTube, you can like the video. You can comment on it. This is also available on Spotify. The video episode is available on Spotify, and you can like it there. You can comment there. But you're a listener and not a watcher? Well, you might be missing out because sometimes I add some graphics. Sometimes you could see that wild train that I was telling you about before. So you go check it out on YouTube. But if not, I am available on all audio platforms as well. It's the You're Still Here podcast, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. I will be back with you for the next episode. Like I said at the top, hopefully sooner rather than later. I think sooner. Take it easy and enjoy whatever the hell it is you're doing in that Buffalo Bill basement. Take it easy.